side with InStyle Atlanta. And you know, at some point in our lives, we've all been in a relationship, love relationship issues left and right. And now there is a brand new, intriguing web-based show called The Colloquy. And it's hosted by Trenell and Lana Hampton. And you guys definitely don't want to miss our sit-down interview with them. And we'll see you guys here soon. And I'm sitting here with the hosts of The Colloquy, Trenell and Lana Hampton. Lana. So, you guys, can you give our viewers a description, a quick rundown of exactly what is The Colloquy?
Oh, I normally leave this for my co-host because he has a better definition. But my definition, because it's the funniest. Remember the Cosby Show?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Theo had an idea, and he wanted to bring together the colloquy to discuss, like, top secret business, I guess, among men. But anyways, that was like my little take on what the colloquy was. Because personally, I never knew that the word ever existed until, of course, my co-host brought it into fruition. So he could probably better tell you.
Well,
not that I don't know what it is, but you know.
She's actually right. So the first time I heard about the word was from the Cosby Show. And Theo and his friends were getting together, and they were trying to come up with an idea to have a party. But Theo said, well, my parents are out of town, I can't have a party. And his friend said, it's not a party, it's a colloquy, it's a meeting of the minds. And I always found that word so intriguing, so I looked it up. And by definition, it is a meeting of the minds. Centuries ago, religious, theological men would come together. Those of the highest intellect at that point would come together, and they would have discussions about issues that were going on in their particular time. So I figured, why not bring that into the 21st century? Because we have those same type of issues, but the twist is we do it from a man and woman standpoint. So we have men and women on our panel where we get the intellect, the understanding from both sexes, and we can come to some type of agreement on whatever particular topic we're talking about.
So speaking of topics, so what kind of topics do you guys cover? I mean, since we were talking about men and women, I could only imagine.
Well, my favorite seems to be the new threesome. First, when I first heard it, I thought threesome like threesome interacting sexually. That's what I thought. And I'm thinking a new threesome would have been, because it's not really taboo anymore, everyone's doing it. But no, the new threesome is actually having a three-way relationship with a man that can have a woman at home and then have a side woman, and they all know about each other, and it's okay as long as everybody's getting what they want.
Or in some instances, all three people live together.
Right.
And they're okay with the situation. And that is something that's going on in today's world.
Right. Which can be polyamory as well. A lot of shows have geared towards polyamory. And, you know, it's kind of out of hand in some ways because people think threesome, polyamory, cohabitating two men and a woman, a lot of things are sexual. But sometimes you could just have good chemistry with those three people, and it may be not sexual. It may be just a relationship. So, the new threesome.
Wow.
And the premise of that is kind of, when we go to the relationship aspects, is because I interact with so many women based on my book and their relationships while they can't find men, I'm understanding a lot of women are starting to come to the agreement or the understanding that sometimes they may have to share a man. But exactly. And see, from a male standpoint, and this is why I have a female co-host, is because from a man's standpoint, it sounds good. From a female standpoint, it's not all that hot because you want 100% of my time. Why should you get only 50% and you have to share with somebody else? But that's why we had that type of topic on the show, to understand, how did this come about? Where are we in today's world where that's becoming the norm?
Right. So, and you know what? You guys are kind of non-traditional because you guys aren't inside of a studio. You take your set, your traveling set, and you go to different venues. So now how do you guys choose some of the venues that you're going to, bring the heat to.
Well, some of the ones that I choose are mostly something of personal, like, I love cigars. So why not go to a cigar bar? Because there are women that are partaking in the art these days. It's more of your mature, not old, but more of your mature audience from like 35, 45 or better. And you can get a different opinion from different background. Most places, the cigar places, have different ethnic groups. So now you're engaging with all that. So most of my selections come from something that I like to do.
My selections come from where I feel there will be a lot of dialogue that's taking place anyway, in cigar bars, in restaurants, social spots. And as the show expands, we will be going to, we'll be going outside of Atlanta. We will hopefully go to tropical places, because at the end of the day, women have their place where they talk about their issues with women. Men have their sanctuary, but we need to come together, and we need to go to different venues where we always interact. If we go to different venues when we're dating, why can't we come together as a collective group and talk about this over learning about wines, or as Lana said, at a cigar bar, over a nice meal or something like that. Wherever discussions are taking place everywhere. So my thought pattern of when I try and come up with different locations is where do I see those type of dialogues taking place.
And we just don't want to do the beauty salon ladies. Because most of the time in the beauty salon, we're male bashing. So we try to pick places that have both men and women in the environment.
And that goes not only just beauty salons, but barbershops.
Right.
You never have that other thought perspective.
Right.
Because it's just one-sided. You got that male testosterone, you got that female energy going on in different places, and we have different views, but we never understand how the other person's thinking. And with this show, with the Colloquy, is where we bring that together so that we can understand why I think a certain way, because necessarily as a man, I may not always think like the typical man thinks. Lana's not going to always think, and that's why Lana and I make good co-hosts, is because we don't always I'm always on the man's side, she's always on the woman's side. Sometimes we reverse roles, and we can see it from the other sex's perspective.
So now, have you guys had any disagreements? You two.
Oh, yeah.
On set. Because you guys have a great dynamic, great energy between you guys.
Oh yeah. There's been time that, okay, cut. Okay, now, you're not going to be saying that, are you? You're not going to do this, are you? And it's like we don't really agree, but because we are mature adults, we can agree to disagree. And because we have a job to do, we're trying to help. We're trying to save the world. We're trying to help other people here. So we know what needs to be done. We can put our personal aside and we can resume. Now, we may need 5 or 10 minutes, get a drink of wine. Okay, I'm not going to apologize, or anything like that. But because he's always wrong.
Okay, now who is the dominant one?
Who's doing most of the talking? But you know what though, and I have no problem with that, because in order to make this show work, just like in a relationship, a man needs his side partner. He needs that person that's going to build him up, and that's exactly what she does. Where I have my weaknesses, those are my strengths right here. So that's kind of how she compliments me very well. So I have no problem, with letting her speak her mind, because she speaks for us. Like she said, a lot of times we don't see eye to eye, but we're mature. And like I said, the point of the show is we're not always going to see eye to eye, but you're going to hear me out. And I want to know why you think your way. She's going to hear why I think my way. We may or may not come to an agreement, but at least we got our voices heard.
And what's really strange about it is we're like married on set, but we're not in a relationship. I'm not his girlfriend, he's not my boyfriend, but we have a very good friendship where when we are on camera, we can be honest with each other, we can talk to each other, and the viewers are actually seeing who we are. This is not a facade. We're not acting. We are actually, this is our chemistry. This is, so.
Yeah, the premise behind one of the taglines that we have with the show is it's the Colloquy It's not reality TV. It's real people with real talk. That's kind of how we are. We don't sit here. We don't have a script. At the end of the day, we start off with a couple topics for the show, and we just let it go from there.
Right. So, what are some more topics that you would like to see? Give me one topic that you want to see come up.
Really?
Yeah.
I would like to see the black wealth gap. That is something it's kind of personal to my heart because of not just so much in the world. There's so much a divide among wealth as people, but within the black community, we're completely on different aspects, and I want to understand how do we go wrong and what can we do to get back on course. Because like with this show, it's around love, relationships, but it's around life, and I can do all the things in my relationship, I can do all the things in love, but I got to make this life thing work. And with that comes my family, the woman, the man we decide to be with as we choose to go on, so that's kind of important to me because, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but, decades ago, we had wealth. Black people had wealth in our communities. We had communities where everything was black owned, but that's not anymore. So I want us to try and understand and bring people in who are from different aspects of life to try and examine what happened. And that may be a topic that we have to delve into in one particular show because there's so many different aspects, so many different opinions about that. But I would like to understand, where the disparity went and how do we get back there.
Lana?
Well, again, I told you my favorite, but there's
You
other
just
things.
like the topic.
Yeah, I think
The topic is
Don't
intriguing.
put me out there.
What would you like?
Lesbian, bisexuality, I would like to explore those realms because it's prevalent these days more than it's ever been. And people are not scared to be who they are. And I would love to get a panel of people on 3 guys, 3 women, and hear if they're for it, not for it, and why. Heterosexual activity, it's just one of those things that I would just love to get down to the nitty gritty. Get me 6 people. Let's see what we come up with.
Well, definitely get down to the nitty gritty here on the Colloquy. Tell viewers where they can find you. Well, clearly you know where to find them because you're here on the website. But if they want to share it, you guys have Facebook.
You can follow us at the Colloquy Talk Show on Facebook and Instagram.
And I'm Lana Hampton, of course. Lana Hampton hosts on Instagram. Trenell Harris on Instagram as well.
And Facebook.
She's your spokesperson. Dominant one of the
And
ladies
you know
rule the
what?
world.
And that's why the show is where it is and where the show is going because I have a strong woman next to me.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that.
Well, look at the fleas on Fluffy.
And I know, and as a man, I know all the right things to say.
Yes, that he does. That he's definitely a charmer, if you couldn't tell. But we do, the balance is very good. And like I said, I am the dominant one, and he's more laid back. And sometimes, I take it a little too far. And he could just look at me and say, and it lets me know, come on, ease up a little bit. So it's good. It's good for the both
It's
of us.
a good partnership.
Yeah.
Which is what a relationship is a partnership.
The Colloquy.
It's a Colloquy.
The Colloquy. No, thank you so much, Trenell and Lana. Can't wait for the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having us.
Yes. Look forward to seeing you again.